Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to How to Get Your Kids Organized for Back to School with professional organizer Master Cruz and family coach Mercedes Samugio. I apologize for being late. We are having some technical difficulties, but we're going to do our best to work through what we got going on today. So welcome and let's get started. So first, some housekeeping things for this webinar today. If you have a question, go ahead and click on the Q&A on the viewing page to communicate with us and ask your questions. Do use the PDF that was provided to you that was sent via email. And if for whatever reason you aren't able to complete this webinar in this next hour or so, this is being recorded and you will be sent a link to review this again another time. So, who is Master Cruz of Master Organizing? Well, that's me. My name is Master Cruz of Master Organizing. I'm a professional organizer that is certified in Level 1 of Chronic Disorganization from the Institute of Chronic Disorganization. I help people declutter their homes and get it organized so that they know where to find things when they need it. I am trained in organized student workshops that delve into time management, paper management, backpack locker organizing, and creating a study space at home for your children. Up next we have Mercedes Samugio, which is, we're going to try to do our best. That's part of the technical difficulty was getting her on the Google Plus Air, but we're going to try to have her on speakerphone so that you are able to hear. So here we go.
All right, again, thank you for waiting for us. But like Master said, we've had technical difficulties, and you know how technology can be sometimes. So, hi, my name is Mercedes Samugio, and I'm a family and parent coach who has been working with families for over 6 years, helping them achieve results in parent-child bonding, decreasing power struggles, and developing effective discipline strategies that foster strong, nurturing relationships. And I received my master's in social work from USC and my Bachelor of Arts in Psychology from UCLA.
All right. So why are, myself and Mercedes doing this? Well, in my own organizing experience in helping countless, families in organizing their home, I've experienced, when it comes to their child's room or their child's space, there's a tension between a parent and child, and I felt like there has to be some way that we can bridge a gap where parents and children can communicate with one another to help declutter their home. So that's the reason why I really wanted to do this, and they felt that back to school was the perfect time to assess how your child is going to tackle this school year. Mercedes?
So I feel like it's not uncommon for both parents and children to get frazzled as the new school year approaches. I feel like parents are worried about their child being prepared academically for the new school year, and their kids are more worried about being able to manage their academic and social lives, as well as how they can get past doing their homework. Like Master, I believe that talking about organization before or at the start of the school year brings a great way to help decrease some of the anxiety for both the parent and the children.
All right, so that's why we're doing this. So let's talk about the importance of a clutter-free space. So statistically, getting rid of clutter eliminates 40% of housework in the average home, and 80% of the clutter in most homes are due to disorganization and not necessarily the space. So let me ask you this: what does being organized mean for you? So being organized means everything has a place or a home so that you're able to find items when you need them. It creates a peace of mind, creates less responsibility or thoughts on you as the parent to think about, allows your children to learn about being responsible on their own and owning their belongings. And also, it helps you keep the housework down and clutter-free by having your child help you out. So let me tell you about a child. Let me tell you about a student I know who who more or less may sound like your kids. His name is Josh, and he's in 7th grade. He has a problem. He's disorganized and has time management issues. He can't find his favorite t-shirt. Clean and dirty clothes are all mixed up on the floor of his bedroom, so essentially he wears wrinkly, dirty, smelly clothes. His peers are turned off by the smell of his clothing, and sometimes they make fun of him. He turns his homework and school projects late, doesn't get good grades, forgets to do homework because he doesn't write it in his planner. He leaves projects to the last minute, doesn't research well, therefore he does not turn in his best work. He has numerous parent and teacher meetings because of this. In his backpack, he just stuffs his paper in the bag, which mixes his old and new homework assignments. It takes him more time to do homework assignments because he's looking for it. Sometimes he hands in crumpled assignments, which he has to redo. He missed some field trips because he didn't turn in the permission slips on time. And sometimes he doesn't have a pen or pencil, so he has to disrupt the class to borrow one. So let's think about this situation. This is a real student. How does Josh being disorganized impact his life? Well, for one thing, the time getting dressed in the morning is affected. His homework is affected, therefore his grades are affected. And it affects his learning and classroom experience. So let me remind you that, clean and neat doesn't necessarily mean being organized. Being organized is when you're able to find things quickly when you need them, like, for example, your favorite t-shirt. So let's get into the strategies to help a child like Josh out. So the first strategy is get your child involved through communication. Get your child involved by communicating through them the importance of being organized, so that they can have the responsibility of their own. And if you haven't already done so, you can start off by editing through last year's schoolwork or school supplies, like the backpack, the clothing, paper files, and school supplies. You want to be able to, again, recycle, trash, donate what you both agree, because again, you're communicating what you no longer need for the school year and what you will be needing for the school year. So that's the first thing, is you want to edit through last year's items to get started through the communication of getting organized. Now Mercedes is going to talk more about how communicating can help them academically. All right, Mercedes.
Yeah. So you can talk to your child before the school year about where homework goes. And you can also talk about where kind of trip slips can be planned, can be put to be signed. I also suggest homework folders, but we can get into that system a little bit later. Overall, I feel like communicating while being organized can help them academically, and modeling this level of organization yourself can be great ways to help them be more responsible for their schoolwork.
All right, so that was strategy 1. On to strategy 2. Strategy 2 is to get prepared and get routines in place. So have your child assess their wardrobe and school supplies and create a list together, again, before the night before, and be proactive. Don't leave it to the last minute. It's all about getting prepared. So Mercedes is going to talk about more of her insight on that.
Yeah, so for all the school ages, I think it's important to set clothes out the night before. Find shoes and backpacks the night before, just so you can kind of have less stress in the morning. One of the most common complaints from parents is that their child is scrambling around each morning looking for homework, trip slips, and anything else that needs to be found before they get to school. The best way to communicate this is to start doing it as part of your night routine, like after dinner and showers, or at getting ready for the next morning to the schedule. Even if one thing is missing, it would be better than trying to find everyone's lost shoes and lost homework before getting off to school.
All right. And now I'm going to be talking about more specific kind of backpack organizing tips. So some possible things you can use is possibly having, a zippered binder, um, smaller pocket containers within the backpack, having, a wallet or coin purse for the change. The main thing is you want to designate a home for everything. So assign, each compartment of the space, backpack, and communicate with your child, this is what we're going to assign it to be, and hold them to that. All right, the next strategy number 3, is organize their clothing. I don't know how many times I've been to a home where clothing has been a big, big issue with their children getting their clothing organized and efficient so that they're able to find it during the school year. So with Organize Your Clothing, have your child go shopping with you. That way they can try things on at the store and choose items that they feel confident to wear at school. Think about choosing maybe classic styles that can be easily matched with other clothing that they already have. Again, you've already kind of assessed in strategy 1 things that they already have, and now you're at the stage where you're going to go ahead and buy things outside of what you already have. So that's one thing that you want to do.
I agree, Master. I think that this can be tricky, as many kids have their own styles and their own ideas about what to wear. The solution I've used with parents that I've worked with is to do as much shopping at home before you go out. Now, I'm not talking about online shopping already, just because I know that some families like to actually go out and buy the clothes, and unless you're really good at this, I wouldn't wait until back to school to shop online. But what I mean is letting your child look at styles online so that you guys both know what you're going to looking to wear, and you can start to discuss some of the appropriateness of the styles before you get to the store. I also agree with Master, in addition to your child's style choices, parents can buy items that will go with multiple shirts and bottoms. This strategy will definitely help them with the inevitable "I have nothing to wear" comments that will come up during the school year.
I love that comment. I have nothing to wear. So I'm going to talk about more specific clothing organizing tips. So one big organizing tip is when you're hanging clothing to use the same type of hangers, be it wire hangers, plastic hangers, wooden hangers, velvet, huggable hangers. When you have uniform hangers, it actually creates more space and looks more aesthetically pleasing to the eye, and will be able to help your child keep things in order when things look aesthetically pleasing. And again, you want to communicate also what kind of hangers your child would like to use to hang. Everyone's different in what their style is. So again, back to strategy 1, you want to communicate what hangers they'd like to use. Another thing you can do is actually coordinate the clothing. Again, ask your child how they would like to coordinate. It's all about communicating, again, how they want to organize their closets there. Again, you want to establish homes. Maybe pants will be hung, or pants will be placed in the shelf or in a dresser. Create and establish those homes, define those homes. A big one is designate a laundry bag. The floor is not a laundry bag. Make a designated space where the laundry will go for your child. For little items like socks or underwear, you might want to also use a mesh bag just to contain those. That way you're not losing those items when you're washing them. And also have sets of clothes ready, hung or packed together. A top and a bottom can be hung on one hanger, or fold the shorts within a t-shirt as a set together. That way your child's not looking for the top or bottom. The sets are already set to go. All right, on to strategy 4, creating a home study station. So whether it's in their room or living room or a den, ask your child to choose a spot of where they'd like to study. And it's okay if this spot changes over time, over the school year. Your child will find a spot that will get them focused. Discover and understand their organizing style and organize your home accordingly. Again, everyone's different in how they learn, And again, your child's no different. So Mercedes will get a little bit more into that.
I agree with that. Again, Master, I would add that for homes with more than one child, I would create a schedule with who will study where. I know that for a lot of families, children always want the space where their sibling is studying. So a schedule will help rotate some of these study spaces so that everyone takes a turn. Also, just really listening to your child when they say they need to study a certain place. I think trying to dictate where they study might kind of impede some of that disorganization. So maybe giving your child, if they like studying in their room, let them study in the room. If they like studying, outside, kind of in the nature, let them do that. Just so you can kind of have a good schedule set up for where they study best at.
All right, so now let's talk about the school paper management system. So go over how the papers will be managed. When papers come in, create a central hub spot, kind of a family control center to house these papers. So things that are needed in the hub spot, a family calendar, a file folder for each family member if you have more than one child. Maybe have different color-coded files. And be sure to label whose folder is whose. There are many different ways to file. Just choose one that your family can maintain. And the thing is, you want to try different methods. If something doesn't work, don't just give up on the filing method. Try different areas of the home that are common to everyone in the family. So remember that things don't have to be permanent. You can always change what doesn't work.
Agreed. I just think that this is where communication and consistency really help. If you set the system up before the school year begins and you are consistent with it, your children are going to follow. Sometimes parents have the intention to stay organized, but somewhere along the year things get hectic, schedules get kind of busy, and the organization kind of stops. But I always encourage parents that instead of beating themselves up over kind of getting disorganized, I would encourage them to get back on track and continue with the system. Again, modeling organization for your children is one of the key ways to helping them do it as well.
I love that. Modeling, being the role model for your children to help that organization. All right, so the suggested home station organizing tips. Like I said before, having a planner, family calendar that everyone can view, if it's on Gmail or a physical paper calendar, electronic calendar. Again, find something that you and your family will like to look at and are easy to view. Create maybe a binder of tabs. Maybe all your paperwork can fit in binders. Go ahead and use the binder if that works for your family. Have a central station for school supplies. It could be one cabinet in the kitchen or one dresser drawer in the home office. Again, create special folders for specifically just for school. And remember to label and color code all of these files and tabs. Strategy 5, create house rules. So go over the house rules and have an agreement with one another. For example, no TV or cell phone until your homework is completed. No one gets to use their phones until a certain time of the day or time of the night. Maybe creating a cell phone basket at the entryway of your home so that your children can focus on their schoolwork and put their distracting technology in this basket.
So again, I agree with this one a lot. I think that this one, I also suggest that you talk it over with your children before the school year begins. And be consistent with the rules, even if you start to change them over the year. As people start doing more activities and as you guys are getting more busy, of course, rules are going to change and different timelines are going to change. So definitely maintain those rules by talking about them, and if they need to be updated, feeling free to update them. One of the things that I also suggest is having weekly or bi-weekly family meetings where you can talk about the rules. This allows each member to talk about if the rule is working or if that rule needs to be tweaked.
I like that. Bi-weekly meetings. It's all about setting dates, so that's great. All right, so we saved the big and the best one for last, which is respect the room. So Mercedes is going to go a little bit deeper into respecting your child's room.
Thanks, Master. So I feel that kids tend to see their room and as their space in the home and their solace. Many of the kids that I've worked with say that this is the one area of the home that should not be subjected to the perfectionism that sometimes parents want to present for the rest of the house. I also believe that the kids' room is a reflection of themselves. So the posters, the clutter, some of the disorganization or organization all tell you a little bit about what's going on for your kid at that time of their lives, which is essentially trying to find their identity and understand themselves. I know that sounds like a stretch, but I realize that for many teens and children, their room is one of the few places that they can truly express themselves without feeling the constraints and social pressures of the external world. So a little transparency, for me, when I was a kid, I remember having action board posters practically wallpapering my wall in my room. And I was so impressed with myself for putting all the pictures up according to my favorite member of the group and colors that I was really, really depressed and sad when my mom told me I needed to take them down because they didn't go with the whole theme of cleanliness that she had at her home. But essentially, that was just me trying to assert my musical preference, and I kind of saw that my mom's refusal of letting me keep those up was an opposition to who I was as an individual. However, I do understand the parents' needs and reasons for wanting their kids' room clean. So some of those reasons can fall under being responsible for their belongings, understanding cleanliness, and helping them keep the house clean, as well as, if we're being honest with ourselves, having a little bit control over the kids. Or it can be all of the above. So when we're thinking about the whole idea of keeping the room clean and respecting your child's space, here are 3 strategies that I like to give parents. One is create a schedule of when the room is going to be clean, such as Fridays before bed or Saturdays before 12 p.m. This will let your child know by when the room needs to be clean, and I suggest not asking them about that until after the time they are supposed to clean it. Number 2 is show them how their room is to be clean by having them help you clean the room first, then take a picture of the clean room and a list of all the things that need to be done to signify a clean room, such as taking the trash out, putting the clothes in the hamper, things like that. For parents, this does 2 things. It lets your child know what to expect as far as what the room is supposed to look like when it's clean, and it allows the parents to hold the child responsible when they say they didn't know how the room was supposed to be clean. One of the final things that I'll say as far as the strategies for keeping the room clean and respecting your child's space is to actually make space for them to actually organize their room. So I say remove all the doodads and fancy stuff and actually provide them with actual space for storage for dirty and clean clothes, toys, video games, school supplies, and any of their little extracurricular stuff. The more space your child has to actually store their stuff, the less likely it'll be that they'll throw it all over the room. So those are my 3 strategies for cleaning the room.
Those are wonderful, wonderful strategies. And I just want to add, the last one is, to communicate where things belong. Have a clear understanding and communicate where things go in the room. That way you're helping each other and not causing more work for one another. So for example, if you do the laundry as a parent, you can ask your child where they would like to put, where they would like their folded laundry to go in their room so that they can put it away. So again, it's back to strategy 1, communicating, where things will go and having understanding and respect where those things will go. All right, so do we have any questions? So let me take a look at our questions here. And I don't know, Mercedes, do you see if any questions have come up on your end there?
Yes, I'm looking as well.
Okay, well, while we're putting up the questions, there are some things I want you to think about. What was your favorite strategy of this, the strategies today? And what tips and strategies will you remember and start using? What is one place that your child could become better organized in? The desk, the backpack, the closet, the bedroom? Think about how you will communicate with them. Maybe part of their homework environment could be improved. And lastly, if there was anything that wasn't covered, do let us know and we'll answer them. So let's see and take a look at the questions here. If there was anything that wasn't covered, do let us know.
I know one question, Master, that sometimes parents have when it comes to organizing is how do they maintain organization over the year? I know we briefly touched on it, but maybe you can talk a little bit about what are some things that parents can do to get back on track once things have gotten disorganized?
Sure. So the question is, once things do get disorganized, what you can do. So one thing you can do is actually don't get frazzled about it. It's kind of a common cycle throughout the year. It can be related to when you travel. Say you go on a trip on a vacation. When you come back, you have to unpack, and things can look cluttered and stressful. But the thing is just taking it a piece at a time. So, for example, if it's clothing that's built up, just kind of pack manage. Just do, maybe certain days like Monday will be for darks, and Tuesdays will wash light clothing, or maybe assign one of your children a day to wash their clothing. So say, Josh, you have Fridays to wash all of your clothing. That's one way to go about it. The main thing is to not stress out about it too much, and just kind of take it a day at a time. Was there any other questions that you see, Mercedes?
No, I don't see any other questions right now at this time.
Okay. Well, so I have an awesome surprise for you guys. But if you do have questions, feel free to email us at the email link that was sent to you, or you can post on our Facebook pages or our social media handles. But the great surprise I have for all of you that have signed up and joined this webinar is this. I actually have a challenge for you to put into action what you learned from this webinar. So I want you to address the issues and problem areas and take a before picture. Apply what you learned today and take an after picture due by October 1st. So I'm giving you a good month, 6 weeks or so, to implement, these strategies that we talked about, and kind of want to see, how you've progressed and the results. So you can post your results and pictures on the Master Organizing Facebook page with the hashtag Back to School BTSO, which stands for Back to School Organizing. And the winner will receive an exclusive Container Store gift card to help you even more outside of just organizing your kids. So that will be on the Master Organizing Facebook page for you to take on to the challenge. And be sure to describe, which strategy you used in today's webinar to participate. Okay, so lastly, this is our information. Again, all of our social media handles as well as our websites. If you have any other questions, suggestions, they're greatly appreciated. I also want to just thank Mercedes for sharing her family coaching expertise. It's been an amazing experience. I apologize again for the technical difficulties, but we strived on, and and still provided this webinar for you all. So again, thank you, Mercedes, and I don't know if you have anything else to say, Mercedes.
I don't have anything to add. I wanted to, again, thank everyone for attending. Thank you, Master, for co-hosting with me. And again, I'll echo Master, thank you for bearing with us through our technical difficulties. I hope that you enjoyed the webinar, and I look forward to talking with more of you through social media or through email.
All right, fantastic. Well, happy back to school, everyone, and I look forward to seeing your posts and questions and any other, future organizing issues you may have. So until next time, take care. Thanks.